Well, he's proven that he can make a play, at times when maybe people are covered or maybe where protection is something where he's not able to completely go through a read, which happens a lot in this league. And then just to make a play with his legs and go score touchdowns, which is what he's done for us, has been a huge boost to our production, particularly in the red zone. But not really surprised, just the way he goes about his business, the way he prepares, and like you said, everyone, talks about intelligence, and really, it's really football intelligence, no matter who you're talking about. I mean, we've all coached guys that are book smart, and it doesn't really translate, and vice versa. Guys that aren't very book smart, but the game makes sense to them. They're instinctive. They understand it. So we'd have all Harvard players here if it were all about book smarts. But there's a lot of factors.
What about the success in the running game in Denver? Can you translate here, you think, with Chicago?
That's going to be a challenge. Chicago's second in the league, I believe, in rush yards per game and per attempt. They move the front quite a bit after the snap. Always been kind of Eberflus's style and system. There are some positive runs you watch on tape, but they also have a lot of negative runs where they're getting into the backfield, where they are penetrating and moving the front. So it's certainly challenging. It was good to see in Denver the run game kind of come alive and hit a couple 15-yard runs and just had nice production throughout the night. So hopefully we can build on that, but it's going to be more of a challenge, I think, this week.
Confidence level with Alex, just in seeing what he did, obviously, in the production in the run game, but then with that fumble.
Well, number one is ball security. We emphasize it quite a bit, and at any point in the game, it hurts you to lose the football, and really we had 3 turnovers in the game. Had a couple exchanges that need to get cleaned up ASAP. So we were not at our standard by any means as far as protecting the football, and I think both of those guys getting some carries is a good thing. Love to see Ty get in there and make some plays, and I think not only in the run game but in the pass game as well. So you're seeing kind of when he's touching the ball, some good things are happening for us, even in the special teams game. So I think that'll continue.
What was kind of the thought behind using more gap scheme stuff against Denver Sunday night?
Well, I think some of it is we've had some success with those style of plays throughout the year, and then I thought there was a good plan. Thought up, some of our run meeting guys, our run pod guys that are grinding on runs right now for the next opponent. Trying to figure out the best looks. I thought there was kind of a combination of good scheme, the way they were set up, and then the execution by the players. They were physical. Sometimes those gap pull scheme runs, the good thing about them is they're not always perfect, but if you kind of carve one guy out of their gap, then there's a crease there, and you saw that some of them were blocked really nicely, perfectly, and then some of them not so perfect, but the backs were able to kind of find that lane. And so that's something we wanted to have as a part of our offense. It's been probably less prevalent as far as in one game, but something we've been doing throughout the year that we've had some success with.
What's the run pod group or whatever?
Yeah, so our line coaches, Coach Cooper, Riscotti, Coach Modkins, Deron Montgomery, Ben Ellefson's in there. We got a group in there that are, and we all give thoughts and have ideas when it comes to really a lot of the phases of the plan. But just those guys are kind of really focusing in on that one area.
So are they coming up with plays, like new plays or plays that they think will work this week, or how does?
Most of the time, you're trying to fit our offense, our scheme into, what do we have that looks good against the defense that we're playing. Every now and then you get into, you see something on tape, whether it be run or pass, where it just looks too good to be true, and you kind of have to put it in just to see if they fixed it, and you test it out. But usually they fix it. They fix it pretty quick.
Like have a group?
Yeah, that's kind of, I would say, fairly standard across the league as far as, staffs kind of break up kind of areas or personnel groupings or things for different coaches to really study and kind of bring to the table when you're trying to put the whole plan together.
Is it harder to marry up some of the gap scheme stuff with what you guys want to do in the passing game?
Well, sometimes it is with play action stuff based on fronts that you're getting. I mean, some teams will pull the guard and but sometimes with pressures and those types of things, it's a little harder on the guys up front when you're pulling guys and they're bringing pressure. So you're sometimes getting out of some of those looks, getting out of the play versus some of those looks. So sometimes it can be more challenging. But we ran a kind of a gap pull play pass against Chicago. The first play of the game ended up being the second play because we got him off sides on the first play, but ended up hitting Jordan Addison on a little in cut. So they can be harder for the guys to fit up front. They see the puller, they see all this going on, they step up, and then you get something in behind them.
Wes, how often in the last 3 weeks has Dobbs avoided a sack where you find yourself wondering how he got away from that?
Yeah, he's kind of been a magician back there. He's avoided some tough looks and really pulled out of some things where it looks like most guys would have got their legs clipped, and he's got enough acceleration and speed to avoid some of that stuff. I don't know how many exactly, but there's been several where you think he might get caught, and there's a balance there. There's a balance between trying to escape, trying to make a play, and then certain times trying to avoid getting sacked and taking a big loss. So you're not trying to take that part of his game away. And I've been with guys, similar in that aspect where they can create off schedule, where you can't take that away from them, but just continuing to try to emphasize what the situation is, where we are on the field position, hey, we're in field goal range, all those types of things that quarterbacks have to know.
Wes, during the time that Justin has been out, obviously with his return inevitable at some point here, I guess what have you learned about this group and how it operates of weapons while Justin has been out?
I think you see we've put together a good group of football players, resilient group, tough, physically tough. I don't think anyone would argue that, even in the games that we haven't ended up winning, that we've come out and played a physical game. And as far as the playmakers, I mean, guys have stepped up and guys have learned the plan. We try to give them the best plan we can, but it's once you put it in and you want to have some scheme variation, you want to do some things that you hope are attacking their scheme and their defense, and it's not always easy at times, particularly on wideouts. There's a lot of formations, motions, late motions, for the quarterback, for the wide receivers. So those guys have put in extra time to make sure they're on top of all those little adjustments and all those little things that we're asking them to do, and they've had some success.
Sort of from that aspect with Ty Chandler, I guess how far have you seen him come from being a young player and kind of mastering the details of the position?
He's grown tremendously from when we had him as a rookie. You know, that's kind of the thing. Sometimes with a young player, it's you're seeing kind of the finished product over a year and a half of really learning the position, learning the game, learning the NFL game. He's always been a talented player, and we always knew that about him. But it's a different path for everybody, and then once he starts making plays, that's exactly what we all expected. But sometimes you can look back and say, well, why wasn't it happening before? But we got to be ready to trust someone to put in the game, and sometimes when you're a rookie, it's tough. You're coming into a league where terminology way different, a lot more details, a lot more discipline with even just tracks. A lot of these guys are used to just being gun runs. I'm lined up 6 yards, I'm behind the quarterback, and I just go downhill and I just let my ability take over. And then of course pass protection, and he stepped up in there and was on the right guys this week. And you just keep building trust that way, and then you get more opportunities.
You guys see some growth in pass pro from him? It sounds like you were saying that he picked out the right guys this week.
Yeah, he was on top of pass protection. We're always going to continue to work fundamentals and technique on those types of things, but he was right on top of everything he needed to pick up this week.
So where do you think he can go as we move forward? I mean, I guess there's been a stretch here where he's sort of been sharing, carries and time with Alex. Like, is that kind of where you see things staying, or does he have the potential to where he could be a lead guy for you guys?
I think he's showing that he's making plays, and we're gonna continue to try to get him touches. What that exactly looks like going forward, we'll keep talking about, but we're gonna try to get him some touches and make sure that he's a part of it. Anybody who's gonna go out and make plays for us.